Michelle Gramoglia, the President and CEO here at Woodland Pond, and this is my weekly address for a Tuesday. Today is Tuesday, April 8th, 2025. Similar to last week, I don't have a lot to go over. We've got some calendar items this week, which I'll go through in a moment, and a couple of other announcement type things. But I thought maybe we would go through the things from the suggestion box and the rumor mill before we get started. The first is there any possibility of a strong suggestion that folks not wear perfume here? Someone wears a very overpowering scent in the elevator and hall, and I seem to be allergic or sensitive to it. This is not unusual. It is pretty typical in the long-term care environment or the hospital environment, doctor's offices, etc., that staff members would be asked not to wear strong scents at all because folks can be very sensitive to that. So generally speaking, you shouldn't smell strong scents of cologne or perfume from our staff. If you do, and it's bothersome, please let someone in leadership know. But this sounds like it's a resident to resident type of request, and that's a little challenging because obviously you all have autonomy as to how you conduct yourselves and the types of scents that you utilize. And some may think that this particular perfume is a great scent, and then others may not like it. Folks are sensitive to different things, but just being mindful of that. The next is that it is sad that Loss in Literature is scheduled at the same time as the short story group with Trina. And it says that 3 people request this. I will follow up with this with the folks that schedule things, including the leaders of both of those groups. One is Maddie Lee and one is Trina, and find out if maybe we can find a way to make those not overlap. We know that overlapping interesting things is an issue here, and I guess that's a good problem to have because we've got lots going on, but I will pass that along. The next is the rumor that Jeannie at Dedrick's is retiring at the end of the year. She deserves a going away party so that the residents can show their appreciation for the great care she has offered over the years. Yes, Jeannie is retiring at the end of the year, and we surely are going to miss her. She had big shoes to fill when Susan Stanmeyer left, and boy, has she done so. She has really become a big part of the Woodland Pond family. In terms of what we do to recognize folks that leave Woodland Pond, we've got a couple of pretty significant retirements this year for people that are high profile. We haven't had that in the past, and we have not yet determined what Woodland Pond will be doing, what we need to be considerate of in terms of the fact that this is not the first year that we've had people retire from Woodland Pond, but they just happen to be higher profile positions. So we will work through it. Nothing has been decided yet for Jeannie, who is incidentally Dedrick's employee, but part of our family. Mary Jo, Gretchen, and we've got a couple of others, and we're working through what the best and fairest way to honor them and recognize them before they go is. We have a couple of complaints, I guess I would say, about the pool room and pool temperature. And what we think this is primarily attributable to is that the standard level of extreme humidity that everyone had become accustomed to in that room, based on the poorly engineered and installed previous HVAC unit on the natatorium, has been replaced, meaning that the humidity that people were accustomed to is now gone or largely gone. And so as that is taking place, and as this is the new normal, what the team has asked is that anyone that has any complaints, concerns, questions about anything temperature related within the community, that go through plant ops. The plant ops committee is ready for the request, so anything temperature related should always go through plant ops, and then the plant ops committee will take it up and have a discussion with the management team, and we will go from there. We have, if you come to the concierge today, the bamboo toilet paper that the sustainability committee was so excited to have our residents and staff and guests be able to access, based on our wholesale relationship with the company that is called Who gives a crap? Yep, it is called Who Gives a Crap. The toilet paper has come in. And if you were to go to Concierge right now, you would see that there's a nifty little pyramid of bamboo toilet paper rolls. They are available to you at our wholesale cost, rounded, not to the penny. We just thought it would be easier to make them $1 a roll. They're very dense rolls and they will last you. And I personally have switched to utilizing this toilet paper in our home. I was leery. I'm not going to try to avoid that, but I was afraid it might be scratchy, but it's great. And it's, as far as I understand, 100% bamboo, which some say is a weed, and it may very well be, but we know that bamboo grows much more rapidly than trees. And we hope that folks try this. By last count, we have already sold 25 rolls this morning to 20 different residents. So congratulations to the Sustainability Committee. And in speaking with Rob Dunn, if the toilet paper sales are a success, then we can look at other products that they offer, including paper towels and napkins and so on. This Sunday, we are doing for the first time an on-campus distribution of Palms on Palm Sunday. We have a variety of multi-denominational events going on over the next several weeks. You can look at your calendars for that. There's extensive discussion in the newsletter, but this particular one we wanted to highlight because we've never done this before. I think this is the one thing within our Easter and Passover recognition celebrations that we have not done before. And I'm very excited about this. We always like to incorporate as many different interfaith opportunities as possible. So at 11:30 on Palm Sunday in the game room, you will be able to receive Palms. And at 1:15 in the assisted living cafe, you will be able to receive Palms as well. This evening, Fred and Joe's Theater Night has a special guest. That is our very own Philip Mayle. And I am sure that as they have always delivered on just the promise of great entertainment, I am sure it's going to be fantastic. We incidentally just purchased a new performance platform to replace the tried and true, but starting to get a little bit old, and wanted to upgrade our performance platform. So you'll see that out and in use this evening. We've got a couple of other important things on the calendar this week. There's an LGBTQ and Allies program tomorrow night at 7:15 in the PAC. And there's a bus going to the Rosendale Theater at 6:15 on Thursday for a lecture. Just keep an eye on your calendars. The last thing I just wanted to mention, and this is something that is important. We had a fire alarm alert go off last, I think it was Thursday or Friday, I think Friday morning. And there were a lot of questions that came up about it. And as a result of that, we issued a really clear bullet point memo of what you should do in the event that you hear a fire alarm going off in the hallway. This is very important. The fire alarms will not go off in your individual homes. A smoke detector will. Those are two different things. The smoke detectors are tied in to our fire panel, so they will alert at the front desk that your smoke detector has gone off. But the fire alarms themselves are they go off in the hallways, and they're very loud. And the building and fire code requires that Woodland Pond cannot silence the alarm until we have been permitted to do so by the fire chief or his designee. In this case, we knew right away what happened. It was not fire related. Oftentimes, dust conditions of some sort can actually set off a smoke head, with the smoke head thinking that dust is smoke. So it worked the way that it should have, but in this case, it was, I think, either sanding dust from paint touch-ups that we were doing near a smoke head, or sheetrock, one of the two. So we were doing routine maintenance, and the dust that was generated set off the smoke head. The fire department, which is volunteer, they did take longer than usual to get here. That has not been our experience in the past. As soon as the fire alarm goes off, it automatically is sent to the fire department, as well as the other emergency 911 responders here in Ulster County through the county 911 system. And normally, I would say that the fire department arrives within 10 minutes or less is typical. On Friday, it went on for quite a long time. And we want to recognize that that is something that we do not have any control over. We don't control how quickly the fire department gets here. We don't control the fire alarm itself. We have indicated to you, there were a number of residents that I think are maybe haven't experienced this at Woodland Pond before, whether it's because you weren't here when there was a fire alarm, or maybe you're newer to Woodland Pond. But the general instruction from the fire chief and management is that unless you are in imminent danger in the location that you are in, meaning that you see smoke or smell smoke or see flames, smell some kind of a strong burning odor, that you should stay put. Every single compartment, architectural compartment at Woodland Pond, including your homes, are built to fire code, and they are built to resist fire conditions and smoke conditions for a certain period of time as required by the New York State Building Code. What the fire chief has explained to us is oftentimes, even in the event of an active fire situation, you would typically never or very rarely see an entire building shaped like ours be evacuated. And while it's the sort of old ingrained thought process, I guess, from grammar school, that if you hear the fire alarm go off, you should automatically evacuate, that is the opposite of the instruction that our fire chief has given, unless, of course, you're in imminent danger. We have the ability to know immediately which smoke head is going off. So as soon as the smoke head activates, it alerts to our fire panel, both at concierge and reception. And we can immediately deploy our staff to go to that smoke head and find out what the circumstances are. If we have to evacuate someone because there's an imminent threat, we will do that at that time. The fire chief wants folks to stay put because having people trying to evacuate when it's not necessary actually creates an impediment to the first responders potentially getting to where they need to, just by virtue of the fact that there's many more people potentially in the hallways. So the combination of the fact that the building is built with fire compartments that are fire resistant, and the fact that we have addressable fire alarms, so we know exactly where the issue is and can alert you, and this need for safe evacuation in the event that that needs to happen, is why you stay put. A few things to this point. At this point in time, any resident at Woodland Pond and their family members or loved ones are not only invited to, but very much encouraged to provide your best contact information to us. Multiple sources are fine, because we alert you to what's going on through our emergency alert system. And we did that on Friday. We sent out multiple alerts. The first tells you the initial information that we have. There's usually a second that provides an update, and then you're going to wait for the third or the last, which is the all clear. And this will be a text message or an email to your cell phone or email if you've provided those to us. It will be a robocall to your cell phone and or your landline if that's what you've provided to us. And a robocall is that automated voice. We typically like to start every message with saying, attention Woodland Pond residents. And when you hear that, that's your indicator that this is an important call coming in from Woodland Pond Emergency Alert System. You should listen to the messages and follow the instructions. One thing you can do to even further alleviate confusion when you get those phone calls is you can program into your phone that is the Woodland Pond Emergency Alert phone number. And if you need help with changing the contact name, we can help you with that. Just go to concierge. And I would strongly suggest doing that. Then this way, you know that every time that particular number calls you or sends a message, that it's the Woodland Pond Emergency Alert System. The other thing that's very important, and we do see this from time to time, is we are very much asking that when the fire alarm goes off, that residents do not come to concierge or reception and do not call concierge or reception. That is because we need to keep concierge and reception staff primarily available to interact with the first responders and with our staff that are on site attending to whatever the circumstance is. We will not answer the phone if you call concierge or reception at that time. If by chance you're experiencing the acute emergency situation, given that we are not going to answer those phones once the alarm goes off, what you should absolutely 100% do is press your PERS alarm or pull the pull cords in your restroom or in a restroom that you're near. This is another really important reason to wear your PERS. Knock on wood, we really haven't had many, I mean, just a handful of situations where we've even had a burnt pot on the stove at Woodland Pond, let alone open flame or smoke or anything like that. But in the rare event that you find yourself in that situation, knowing that we have to keep the reception and concierge lines open, always use your PERS. You can use your PERS anytime you're in an emergency situation. It doesn't just have to be for a fall or you're not feeling well. We are here to help you. So even if, for example, you were in the hallway and you encountered something that scared you, let's say it was a dog that got off its leash and it scared you and was in the hallway, or you came across a drunken sailor in the hallway and you felt intimidated. Not that that happens, but you should use your PERS. You use your PERS and we will find you and we will come help. Lots of good reasons to wear your PERS pendants. I think this is a good refresher. I have had communication with Matt Goodnow, who is the chief of the ambulance company here in New Paltz Rescue Squad. And similar to how the fire chief had come and done a presentation to us about what to do in the event of a fire alarm, Matt Goodnow would like to do an encore presentation to one that he did right before COVID about the role and responsibilities of the ambulance staff, the EMTs and paramedics, what you can expect when they arrive, and how the decisions are made about if you need to be transported, how to determine which hospital to go to, how they interact with a do not resuscitate order, and so forth. It's not on the calendar yet. But we are looking at May dates for that. So we want you to be as prepared as possible. Hopefully you all have the form that we printed out with color that said, you know, the fire alarm, what to do, and hopefully you hung it up on, you know, the inside of your primary door so that you always know where it is. And then that way you can refer to that document if you ever do hear that really pesky fire alarm. I hope you all have a great day and I will see you next week.